In the future, there is a biotechnology company in Germany called Ian, which offers a medical procedure that can take time out of a person's life and transfer it into another person's body, as long as they are compatible. Thanks to this technology, people who desperately need money can sell their age as much as they want, which makes their bodies age rapidly. The person who buys will become young, which means the rich will live forever. Usually only poor people desperate to improve their living conditions agree to sell their age, although Ian always promotes it as an option and donation. In the future, there will be many immigrants and asylum seekers, and this is their only way to make a living. The company makes sure to reward scholars, artists, and celebrities with time, and Nobel laureates were recently added to the list. Ian's best donation manager is Max, who goes around convincing people to sell their age. Today, he talks to a boy from an immigrant family, telling the teenager that he would greatly benefit from selling 15 years of his life. To convince him, Max explains how he sold 5 years of his life to pay for a college education. He also pointed out that the chances of his family getting legal documents to live in peace are almost zero. But this money could help them open a business. All this manipulation makes Max a deal. When he returned to the company building, Max wore a raincoat to face the protesters outside who were throwing stones at passing workers. Many people are against Ian technology because of the growing social and economic disparity in society. Once inside, Max attended a special event where he received the award for Agent of the Year. Then the company's founder, Sophie Thyssen, gave a speech about the importance of their work. Meanwhile, at one of the Ian clinics, patients were enjoying a quiet day when suddenly a man dressed as an employee pulled out a gun and shot several people in the room before scribbling on the wall with the symbol A and then running away. He is from the Atom Group, which is an anti-Ian organization. Max returns home and prepares a special dinner to celebrate his award with his wife, Elena. They haven't finished paying for the apartment yet, but their dream is to have children. The next day, the couple visited Elena's parents. Her father jokes about maybe buying himself a few extra years, but he gets aggressive and insults Max's work, which he considers unethical. Elena interrupts before the argument escalates, but during the drive home, Max wishes Elena would defend him instead of being neutral. When the couple returned to their building, they were shocked to discover that their apartment was on fire. Not only did they lose all their possessions, they also lost all their money as it was in the house. When they went to see the insurance company, they found that they would not cover this incident because the report showed that a candle caused the fire, which was considered negligence. Elena swears that she always extinguishes all the candles before leaving the place, but that's the official report, and they can't do anything about it. Max learns that to get a loan from the bank, Elena offered 40 years of her life as collateral, which she never told him about. Max tried to offer his own age, but was rejected because there was no suitable recipient for him. This confused Max because he had donated in the past. However, it turns out that the recipient of the donation has recently died. As they leave the insurance company, the police arrest Elena to prevent her from fleeing the country. Max thought that he would get the money to pay the bank some other way and went to Sophie to explain his situation, making Sophie promise that she would see what she could do. A few days later, Max's lawyer informed him that there was no word from Sophie and she was ignoring their calls. With no other options, Max went to the clinic and tried to visit Elena, but they told him that he had to wait until the procedure was over. Lost his mind, Max runs into another room to try to see his wife, but he is tackled by Kaya and her team. Meanwhile, Elena gets ready for the procedure. Hearing a lawyer read the contract makes her flinch, and she begins to struggle against the doctors. However, she is given an injection that puts her to sleep, and then she is connected to a machine that transfers 40 years to someone in another room, whose face is hidden. After that, Max takes Elena home. But she didn't say a word during the following days. Elena's body began to age rapidly until she looked like an old woman and she could hardly stand looking at herself in the mirror. Max and Elena's relationship becomes very awkward. One morning, Max is called into the company and he learns that he has been given a promotion which includes a pay rise. However, this is of no use now. Furious, Max runs to try to talk to Sophie, but Kaya stops him from getting too close. Sophie ignores him and gets into her car, although Max notices that she is starting to look younger. Later at home, Max swears that he still loves her, but Elena tells him to leave her alone. After Max leaves, Elena begins to feel a strange pain in her stomach and rushes to the bathtub, where she begins to bleed. Meanwhile, Max takes a walk and drinks beer in the park, where he is approached by a girl selling illegal objects. Max promptly chases her away. A few hours later, Elena is in the hospital due to her illness. Max accompanies her and is surprised to find out that before the procedure, Elena had been pregnant and the bleeding that occurred today was a miscarriage because this old body could not have a baby. Tired of the awkward life they lead, Elena tells Max to take her to her parents' house, where she will live from now on. Heartbroken, Max promises to find a way to reverse this procedure. Desperate for a solution, Max finds the girl in the park and approaches her for information, knowing that the girl got her procedure from somewhere illegal because Ian never made a child. The girl gives him a special contact, whom Max then contacts, and he learns there is a group that performs age transplant operations in a neighboring country. He was ordered to buy a disposable phone and a fake passport. He had to find out the recipient, who had been given time by Elena. After that, Max hides in a hotel and makes plans to kidnap Sophie, as he believes Sophie getting younger and refusing to help him is no coincidence. Over the next few days, he follows Sophie until one afternoon, he gets his chance when he sees her alone at a cemetery without her bodyguard. After covering her face, she approaches the now young Sophie, who starts screaming for help. Max catches up quickly and electrocutes him until he falls unconscious. Then he paints the letter A on a grave to make it look like Adam's group did it. Afterward, Max picks Elena up at her workplace, asking her to trust him. Together, they go to an abandoned building, where he keeps Evan and Sophie tied up. But Elena thinks this is crazy, and an argument ensues. Max convinces Elena that this is the only chance to rebuild their lives and have a family. At the funeral, Kaya and Novik investigate the situation, and Novik uses the footage from the cameras to track down the cars Max uses. They were all bought with fake accounts, but Novik followed all the purchases until he traced them to Max's real account. So now they are going to look for him. Novik wondered if they should call the police, but Kaya refused. By the time they get to the abandoned building, the couple is gone. While Elena and Max head to the harbor, Kaya and Novik set up a new operation to capture them, this time with the help of the police. Novik explains how the couple met. Max was assigned to persuade Elena to sell her time, but in the process of selling, they fell in love and got married. Novik admits that he feels sorry for desperate people. Kaya revealed that she is actually 64 years old. She doesn't like modifying her body like this, but she does it for a job because she owes Sophie a lot. At the harbor, Max and Elena managed to board the ship without much trouble. However, they were caught on camera, and Novik learned their location. Every few hours, Max checked on Sophie and brought her food and water. She is kept in a box with a bathtub. At night, the couple witnesses a happy family and hopes to have a baby of their own in the future. Suddenly, a child says there are lights on the beach, and Max and Elena come out to find that the police are waiting for them. Thinking fast, Max decides to use the family to their advantage. When the police start checking all the cars leaving the ship, Max's van comes out. However, the father who drives it is under threat from Max. He pretends to be a delivery worker transporting bathtubs, but the police are suspicious because he looks very nervous. They ask to see the back of the van where Sophie and Elena were hiding in the bathtub. The cops saw the box and asked the man to open it completely, and when the poor guy hesitated, they asked him why he was so nervous. Through the Bluetooth earbuds connected to his phone, Max told the man that he was nervous because he had never been held at gunpoint before. The operation leader realized that his officer did not handle the situation well and let the driver go. Then the wife with the baby arrived, while Max hid in the back with the child at gunpoint. The police saw nothing wrong with the woman and let her pass. The two vehicles stopped on the road later, and the family was reunited. But before letting them go, Max smashed their cell phones and shot one of their car tires. Then the couple left in the van with Sophie still tied to the bathtub. A few hours later, they stopped in the middle of the road so Sophie could empty her pee bucket. However, once she was able to speak, she explained that she was not Sophie, but her daughter Marie. They happened to look very similar after their mother underwent the procedure. Max doesn't believe it and looks for information on the internet, which says that Sophie only had one daughter who died a long time ago. Marie explains that it was precisely to avoid the attention of the press that she was kept out of the spotlight, but Max does not believe it. However, Elena is starting to have doubts. Eventually they find an abandoned hotel and decide to spend the night there. Marie is allowed out, and she insists that she is not Sophie. Elena starts arguing with Max, who still doesn't believe her. And he says that even if the story is true, Marie should have matched Elena because she is the same DNA as her mother. Elena gets fed up with Max wanting to use a child and leaves the room. Marie asked to take a shower, so Max took her to the bathroom while Marie explained that Sophie had discovered the age transplant method while trying to cure her sister. Max turned around so he could change, and Marie took this opportunity to hit him and run away. Maria immediately ran into the forest, where it was dark and there was no signal for the cell phone she stole. She saw a light nearby, which meant she was being chased, but when she was about to cross she thought it was a big puddle. It turned out to be a deep hole, and she started to sink. Marie tried to hold on to a fallen tree and had no choice but to scream for help. Fortunately, the light turned out to be Elena, who quickly helped her out. They returned to the hotel and Marie was finally able to take a shower after removing her clothes. Elena realizes that she has no scars from the procedure, which means she really is Marie. Elena tells Max about this, but Max explains that her skin may have regenerated during the procedure. Max tells Elena that he did this so they could have a baby. He tells Elena that she deserves better and kisses her, while a tied-up Marie can hear them from the bathtub. Meanwhile, Novik told Kaya that he had found the couple's location and they were getting ready to go after them. A few hours later, Elena and Max were suddenly awakened by several men pointing guns at them. It is the group of men who take Max's gun before Lilith appears. She confirms that the girl is Marie and not Sophie, then takes the trio to an abandoned building where she reveals the whole truth. Sophie is looking for a donor for her personal use, and that person is Elena. The company has sent Max because he is their best donation manager, but instead of getting Elena to donate, the two fall in love with each other and end up getting married. When Sophie needs a donation, she deliberately sets fire to their apartment and gets Max's donation partner killed to prevent Max from donating part of his life. Lilith gives Elena a gun with only one bullet, telling her to either kill Marie or kill herself. Elena dares not to either and drops the gun. Just then Max's cell phone received an illegal clinic location, which would be valid for 6 hours. If they don't want to miss the meeting, the pair must help Lilith kill Sophie. As Kaya surrounded the building with her team, Max came out. Pretending Adam isn't with them, he tells them that only Sophie is allowed in, and if anyone else tries to enter the building, Elena will shoot Marie. A young-looking Sophie appears and accepts the terms. But before she enters, Kaya asks how Max knew Sophie was with them. She realizes that this is a trap, and suddenly Novik pulls out his gun and shoots Sophie, knocking her unconscious. Kaya quickly kills Novik, and from inside the building, Adam Group opens fire on Sophie's team. Max rushes back into the hotel, but is knocked down when something explodes nearby. After evading several guards, he is captured by a rebel, but after exchanging a few blows, he manages to immobilize him. Max then takes Elena and Marie to the garage to escape. While Max tries to start the car, Marie grabs a gun and tries to shoot Elena, but there are no bullets. Elena was disappointed that Marie was going to kill her, after she refused to shoot her earlier, so she hit Marie's head against the car until she fell unconscious. The three then fled in the car. While Kaya checked Novik's cell phone and found that he was in contact with the rebels because he was actually part of Adam Group. A few hours later, Max said that he didn't want to do anything to Marie because he didn't want to be like Lilith. However, Elena had had enough and threw Max out of the car, threatening to end it all. After Max left, Elena drove the car towards an illegal clinic where Maria was dragged and procedures were performed. Meanwhile, Max sees a bus full of immigrants. He follows it to join the refugee camp. The next morning, Marie is found walking on the street by a truck driver who takes her back to the city. Moments later, she is reunited with Sophie, who is alive and well because she is wearing a bulletproof vest. In the following days, Marie began to age rapidly, but the selfish Sophie refused to donate part of her age to her own daughter, and promised to find a donor soon. A few months later, Max found Elena on the beach. She looks young and pregnant, and she has a new husband. When she sees Max, she doesn't even try to talk to him, and Max goes back to his new life, becoming a rebel with Adam's group determined to bring Sophie down.